Welcome to WagerTalk Today, the gold standard of sports betting shows where we talk the talk and walk the walk. It's football, NBA, college basketball, UFC Friday, Dan. We got a lot to go over here. Dan, congratulations, WTF, LFG, no sweat. Easy cash. So congratulations on that. We're going to get to that in a second. Who we got on today's show?
Yeah, Andy, it's always nice when you bounce back and get a plus money winner for the folks. That is ideal right there. But coming up on today's show, we got a jam-packed one. As Andy said, I agree, Friday Wager Talk Today is the best show of all, and it's because we have Gianni the Greek leading us off. He's going to talk the latest in Steam action, let you know what's happening on the hardwood, as well as if we have any late moves here heading into the NFL Championship weekend. Speaking of Championship weekend, Teddy Covers is breaking down the NFC Championship. That's Rams and Seahawks. You know we're doing Sell Me with the man, the myth, the legend, and we got Rockets and Pistons, a little NBA free play coming from you from Teddy Covers. Marco D'Angelo going to shut things down for us. Will we have a sauce of the week? We'll have to find out from Marco, but we know he'll be talking Ohio State versus Michigan on the hardwood college basketball action, and he will be talking the AFC Championship. So get his thoughts on this whole Stidham situation. Broncos and Patriots free play coming from Marco. I got a WTF LFG. You got all around the world. And, of course, we're going to break down some UFC here as well. Kyle Anthony was slated to join us, but he's a little under the weather. So, don't worry. Andy will have you covered heading into UFC weekend. Also, Andy, I'd like to mention at the top, coming tomorrow, you're going to be doing a live stream for heading into UFC action. It's going to be the first time that we've done this. So talk a little bit about that before we bring in Gianni the Greek, because I know you're pumped up for that.
Yeah. Talking to the production team, we need some live content, like kind of as we're going into Saturdays. So talk to Chris, and it's just a perfect way to go into UFC. But it's more than that. We're going to be talking about props. We're going to talk, that's where we're going to really talk money. Honestly, all access clients, this is a great time to just go over everything. How has the week been? We'll talk real dollars, real cents, real betting strategies, but we'll also get the closing lines of UFC because, at the time of recording this, things can change in UFC.
For sure.
Lines can change. Staph infection, people miss weight cut or get something. So that is going to be live on the Wager Talk YouTube channel. So any questions you want to do, but I'm really excited to break down the UFC, but more important, really talk real money, because in the end, this is a business and we want to talk about bankrolls. So Yanni does a great job of that. So we're going to just, try and do some more content about that. Enough yammering. Give us a free play. I know that's what the people are saying. Dan, what is today's LFG WTF?
Yeah, so hopefully we got some people who want to follow this one, LFG or WTF. What we do here right at the top of the show, we give you a play from yours truly, or if I'm under the weather, Andy throws one down here for you. But follow or fade. It's that simple. And we're taking a look at this Patriots and Broncos game. I'm going with the bet that I've cashed in the first 2 weeks of the playoffs, and I think it's even just as likely, if not more likely, to hit when Drake May is heading on the road. What are we talking? A touchdown? No. How about Drake May to throw an interception? He has picks in both of his playoff games, as I alluded to there. And, some people may argue, oh, well, it's because they had to play in inclement weather there in New England. And sure, that's fair. But if you look at the fashion of those interceptions, they weren't weather interceptions. They were young quarterback playing against good playoff defense interceptions, in my opinion. He's got 8 picks on the year. This is his first road game for him in weeks. Going to Mile High is no easy task for the most veteran of quarterbacks. Drake May's been turning the ball over, folks. I think he does it again in Denver. Give me Drake May interception, another plus money peach for you, Andy. Let's get to 17-9 on these free plays here for you. Drake May to throw a pick, plus 115. You following or fading, Andy?
At 100%, this is LFG. They can't block. This is just a really bad offensive line. Will Campbell, he's catching a lot of heat. Oh, he's not good. He hasn't been good. I really think he just hit the rookie wall. Like this is just a lot. Like go through an entire season as a rookie and you're trying to protect the blind side and it's just not working well. So Drake May will get under pressure and he will throw one to the wrong team. So you got fading. All right. Well,
that's fine.
Your Patriots.
That's fine. Throw him to not throw an interception. Take that nice -135. Why not? That's your prerogative, David. And we do have some folks following. Let us know after the video. Are you following or fading, or what are some of your favorite props here in action this weekend? Because 2 great games. I think I'll probably be betting more props than sides or totals as they're kind of been hammered into shape here.
Yeah, let's bring in Gianni. If you guys want to have any questions for UFC, put them in the chat. Like I said, Kyle Anthony is really sick. I talked to him this morning. So if you got questions about UFC, we can do that at the end. I'll cover all that.
Andy,
all right,
I'm looking down here at the bottom of our screen. It looks like right when we were about to bring Gianni on, he has left the building.
Gone.
Gianni proverbially has left the building. He's back, though.
There he is.
The filibuster brought him back. Gianni in the house, man. How we doing, brother?
Good morning, my man. Good morning. Good morning to you both. Shout out the block. And what a great segue, because I actually just released 2 props to premium subscribers. They got a 4% prop, a 3% prop for the playoff games. And more importantly, today's Steam sheet is going to have all the props that I moved over the last 2-3 days. And more importantly, early this morning and late last night. Because again, we fire volume, but this year we're keeping it tight for subscribers. And out of all those props, only 2 have become premium so far. Those are in the package along with a 4%. And more will be coming between now and Sunday. But you're absolutely right. It's the props that have been getting hammered over the last 24 hours by the betting syndicates. And come Sunday, once the public gets involved and starts knocking some of these props out of whack, you'll see another wave of sharp money coming and attacking them. So yeah, a lot of action the next couple of days with the NFL playoffs, with UFC returning on Paramount pay-per-view. That's not a pay-per-view card. Doesn't get any better than that. And of course, the huge slate of college basketball on Saturday. So good couple days to do some damage. That's for sure.
Well, let's talk the 2 NFL games, and you and I were talking just before we went. You and I are betting props. I haven't bet a money line spread total in the NFL in forever. Our 5% this weekend is a prop. So, talk us through where are you seeing money coming in on spread and total? But you brought it up. There's syndicates are playing the props. I'm interested to see what they're doing because I keep my eyes on the props all day long.
Yeah, so far, here's where it stands as far as the side and total. I can tell you right now, they're not as one-sided as you would think, but they're heavier on the New England side. New England got steamed as soon as it opened. It went from 4.5 up to 6. That's when you started seeing take back on the Denver Broncos. But there wasn't enough take back to offset the risk on the Patriots that's starting to mount from public money as well. So again, there was sharp money on New England. When the line moved significantly, you saw take back on Denver. But since then, we've been seeing more New England. Probably 7 out of $10 are being bet on New England from the betting public. They're also betting that game over, one-sided over. In fact, I'm looking at right now, back end, over 90% of the dollars bet are on the over. That's why the market reflects that. Rarely in the playoffs will you see this kind of movement that's not weather or injury related, that you get so much sharp money coupled with public money on top of it that you have to move a total 2+ points. Again, that's only happened due to weather or injuries. And obviously we have the injury situation in Denver, but you usually get the opposite. Starting quarterbacks out, you're going to get steamed to the under, not to the over. The opposite has happened here, surprisingly. So we got one-sided over money. Wise guys went over 41. Public's betting it over at 43. 2 completely different bets. Second game, Rams and the Seahawks. Good balance here. And that's what should happen. If you look at both of those games, they were coin flips. Seattle won that last game in Seattle, and they defied probability. I think they were like -3 or 4 in turnovers. The probability of a team winning a football game being -2 in turnovers is almost non-existent. To do it when you're like -3 or 4 is very rare. So Seattle being able to do that And then in the first game as well, same situation. The turnovers cost Seattle. Rams won, but both those games were coin flip outcomes. A lot of randomness involved. And that's why you're seeing balance. I don't think you're going to get much one-sided action. Again, you saw the move on Seattle early, but at 3, they're taking the Rams. So you know the sharp bettors want 3 on the Rams. If they see 3, they're going to take it on the Rams. That's why it's not available. If you get, you'll know if the books are one-sided Sunday by the number. If you see 3s on the board, then they need some balance because they have a lot of risk on the Seattle side. If you see 2.5, then they're doing just fine at that point, and there's getting the two-way action continuing because that's what I see. As far as the total, we're not seeing much line movement, but I can tell you the ticket count and money bet is all on the under so far. 8 out of 10 bets, $9 out of $10. Small volume of action so far and amount of money bet, but the action that is there is all on the under so far. That's what's going on as far as the sides and the totals. Now the props, it's been the sharp bettors that got out ahead of the market and the books. The recreational bettors, they usually don't start betting the props till tomorrow and then Sunday. Some of the stuff that stuck out as far as props go, they like Puka over rushing yards. I saw that one in 2 different accounts. Over 4.5 rushing yards for Puka. I saw Devontae Adams under in receptions, under in receiving yards as well. That's kind of correlated. Those were in multiple accounts. Who else did I see? I saw, Shaheed. I saw Shaheed. This one's a popular prop. I think I saw, was Dave Mason talking about, or one of the books was talking about the over rushing yards for Shaheed because it was different at different books. I know MGM put it out at 0.5 yard and got steamed. And then I think MGM had like 2.5. DraftKings had 1.5. Caesars had 2.5. So different prices all over the board on that. But they were betting the over on Rashid Shaheed. Those are the prompts that I just shared that I saw in multiple accounts. Now, there's obviously going to be some other props that I don't have the confidence that they're legit because I see it all the time in the accounts. They're betting both sides of props where, but they're getting good numbers on both. They'll go, over 1.5 plus 105, and then they'll go, under 1.5 plus 102. So they'll have plus on both at different accounts. So I keep my eye open for those because, again, anytime you're able to get free money, they're going to lock it down. But you can, sort of tell which are legit, and the ones I shared are definitely legit because they're in multiple accounts.
This is your public service reminder. If you're playing on DraftKings, FanDuel, BetMGM, don't do that. Let the syndicates do that. You will get your book. You will get your book shut down really quick. It's the number one way.
You want to be able to bet $3.23 a prop. That's how you bet $3.23 a prop.
And here's what a lot don't understand. Knowing that that's what everyone's looking at, those are the books that are used to dummy up sides and totals and prompts.
Good point.
Like if I know everybody's looking at Pinnacle and they're copying the Pinnacle line, that's the shop I'm going to use to dummy up. If I know they're copying Circa for MMA, I'm going to dummy up Circa's MMA. If I know they're piggybacking, Westgate's NFL, I'm going to make sure I use Westgate to dummy some NFL up. So that happens a lot. Got to be cautious there.
Yeah, that's great info.
Yeah, I arbitraged for a couple weeks and
yeah,
let's just say I learned my lesson.
Yeah,
that it's not worth it. It's much more worth to have your books.
They make it too hard. But I don't know. I just got to share this. I'm sorry. I know there's a lot probably guys waiting to jump on here. But if you get a chance, Breaking Points. I don't know if you know that show. It's Breaking Points. They talk like politics, all kind of stuff. Anyway, Google Breaking Points segment on sports betting. They interviewed the top exec from FanDuel that actually went on the record. Few guys have ever done this because he's an ex-top exec. Went on the record, gave his name as well, and talked about all the stuff that the sports books are doing right now to separate people from their money. It's such unbelievable that the stuff he shares, the stuff that they're doing to separate young people from their money. He was saying, like, in boardrooms, they're talking about it like this isn't even fair. Like, maybe we should give them a little better odds on the parlays because we're separating them from their money too fast. Like, seriously, like the conversation is like they have 0-0 chance. Should we give them maybe like a 0.5% chance so that maybe we don't bury them in a month? Like maybe their lifespan is 3 months instead. Those are the conversations. And how bad how much money they're making on these parlays is so ridiculous. It's like to them, it's the new they fear that they're almost like how it was with the opioid epidemic, where they knew, that family knew that it was addicted, and yet they said it wasn't, with, and they're saying the same thing here, where like they're promoting the parlays and they're getting all these celebrities and high profile people to push the narrative that this is how you can get rich, you could get wealthy, you could make a lot of money betting sports. When the truth is that they was saying, like, execs laugh, like nobody does it. Like it just I think they wrote a book. It's called Everybody Loses or something like that. And it's about this guy from FanDuel that shared all the stuff that they do. If you get a chance, watch that segment. It's crazy, bro. It's crazy.
Well, Andy, you're in like the same group chats with your buddies and stuff like that. Like when you're talking about, what are you betting this weekend? And, you share plays, whatever. Then they send their bet slip that has, 6 different legs in a parlay. And you're like, I didn't say to parlay all of these picks together. Like it's just, it's how a vast majority of people.
And then they see the bias of bettors, and then they shade the lines so that you're getting such the worst odds too. So they know that mathematically you'll never catch up. Like even if you start hitting some of these parlays, you're just getting so the worst of it, you have no chance. Like it was so crazy listening to that. Like I'm a seasoned gambler, and I still got shocked at some of the practices and what's going on.
It's wild, man. And they don't care, about the money that they're losing too. It's wild, man. It really is. I find that stuff fascinating. So you're in the same group chats, Andy. Like how it goes. You know what I mean? You say, hey, here's what I'm betting. I'm betting a -200, and they have zero interest in that unless it's in their 12-legger.
I will tell you, most of my friends do not bet anymore. The books have lost them.
Yeah,
I'm like the last guy.
Here's a perfect example from JD. Ace goes 4-1-1, and customer service has somebody bitching because they parlayed them all together and they lost. When if you just played 4-1-1, I mean, we dream of a 4-1-1 day. You know what I mean? Like that, you come in on Monday, you go 4-1-1, and you're feeling great, but they parlay it together.
Bro, he was talking about all the fixes, like so many things that players are now fixing because of the props. Like just some of the stupidest things. Like they'll text their buddy, like, hey, I'm going to miss the next 2 shots. Like bet and shit. It's crazy.
It's crazy. We could talk about this for an hour.
Forever.
So
forever.
we gotta go.
It blows my mind that guys like LeBron James agree to be in commercials for DraftKings. Like, how is this legal? The guy plays tonight.
Exactly. That's what they were talking about.
Well, let's get some steam. People, Arias wanted to know if you got anything in NHL. So let's take a look at college basketball. Anything of note in NHL, NBA, anything you got?
Yeah. All right, here's what I got for you in NBA. Indiana, 557, Indiana, +16. 545, Houston, +4.5. And then 553 over 234.5, 235, New Orleans. The reason I bring that up is because this is a perfect example of when I talk about the overnights and why I don't release to subscribers. Because last night in the account, they bet under 236.5 in nickels. Like that's the limit overnight, 250 or nickels in the accounts. Today in the accounts that I could get a dime or higher on totals, they hit every single account over 234.5. So last night they were betting 250 to get it to go down. And today they blasted the over for 4x the amount of money. When I see that shit, it's so beautiful. College basketball, 890 Ohio +9, 883 Indiana -6, And then 894 Colorado State +5. Still a lot of little early, not a ton of action. In the NHL, I can tell you, 67 Vegas -110, -115, very, very sharp. Saw in multiple accounts. The other one that I saw as well, I saw one more. I know it. Where was it? Oh, Seattle -110 and 112, I think, over Anaheim. So Seattle, I would give you. Vegas, I would give you. And New Jersey. I think those three. Jersey, those are the three strongest for sure. Seattle, Jersey, and Vegas. I think you're 2-1 at worst, 3-0 probably.
I forgot about this story that Johnny has. There was a massive move in the CFL, and all it was, a guy accidentally added a 0 onto his bet, and everyone thought it was this huge, gigantic whale move, and so every book copied the line.
Bro, I got to share this one. This was like 2 seasons ago. Everyone may remember the guy that puts in the bot. He gave Seattle, but he accidentally put money line instead of +8.5. So we were all betting it at +400, 300 or something.
Oh no!
They won on the money line. And it was a
wow.
mistake. I swear to you. He just punched it in wrong. And we're all betting this money line and shit. And everyone's like, damn, they must have inside information. And then we find out, no, he just typed it in wrong.
The way that I know that it's a true story is because that never happens. You know what I mean? When it gets fat fingered, it's always the wrong side that you end up on. So that's how I know that's a true story that Gianni was like, dude, how incredible is it that we were on the wrong side?
I swear, I
and
woke
they
up
won.
and I looked in the accounts and I'm like, dude, that Seattle hit outright. Holy shit, they were right.
That's where you
They called it.
betting,
What a
man.
great call.
That's
Anytime
where
I've
it's true
accidentally
gambling.
anytime I've accidentally put in the wrong bet or something, it loses at a 100% rate. Yeah, I never get lucky on any of those.
No.
If I do it, a batting 0 lifetime. So great stuff, Yanni. What do you have up for everyone? Huge
Thank
weekend.
you, brother. Tonight, I isolated. I won, and I'm doing really good in NBA. I've given out 100 bets. I'm 62%, right there, number 2, I think, in profit. Isolated the one strongest bet I like on the day's board because I made it a cash bet, went down to the window at the Palms and actually bet this one at the window. And I'm doing that with MMA this weekend. Anytime I do the cash bets at the window, the results have been pretty good. The Steam sheet is up. It's got NFL in there, college basketball, NBA, NHL will be added, and more stuff throughout the day. And again, today, the player props will be in there also. Sunday, NFL package. With props and a 4%, more will be added. And I'm this close to confirming a 5%. So if you bought it already, good, you're saving $10. Because if I confirm, we're firing. And of course, tomorrow night is UFC, the return, 324. I have 4 bets in there already, including a 5%. Coming off a rare losing year in MMA, we're going to progress towards that mean, which is profit. You know, that's coming. So big couple days ahead, jump on board. But more importantly, jump on board for the whole year. And let's do some damage in 2026. Best of luck to everyone this weekend.
Thanks, Yanni. Great stuff.
Thank you,
We got a few things. This is awesome. Seth pulled money from his DraftKings account this week to pay for a new commercial freezer from our cricket, NBA, and tennis winnings. That's what it's all about. And I'm so happy for Seth, man. He started his own beef jerky company, and it's not even close to the best. It's the best beef jerky I've ever had, and he's building it up from scratch. And
I'm probably gonna live off of
great.
it when I first move into our house. I already told him, I was like, hey, once we get the new address, he's gonna send me some beef jerky, and that'll probably be what we live off of for a couple of weeks.
Yeah, we're 8-4 Australian Open. We got one parlay leg to close to move us to 9-4, and we're gonna give out a free tennis play after that. Here's a real life question. Take on the Caps gambling losses, deductions at just 90% of winnings. What kind of impact do you think it'll have on the sports betting industry? It's not going to have, this is all my opinion. It's not going to have an effect on the average bettor. If you're betting $20, $25, you're not going to notice. You may not even know that to claim that losses or winnings on your taxes, that most people miss that. But for people like me, it's something I have to take into account, and you got to get really creative because you need to make up that 10%. There are ways to do it. I will not share those live because, but it's as a whole, like it's just going to build up a little bit over a lot of accounts. The majority of people are not going to notice. And the reason I know that is nobody talks about it. When was the last time the average bettor was like, "Hey, I'm really worried about this thing"?
Yeah,
it's just
no. That's
not,
why I was surprised to see the question, and I know we have Teddy coming up here. He's a perfect guy. We'll get him to weigh in on that. But first, Andy, you mentioned about how Seth is buying a freezer just off of cricket plays they got this last week. I mean, this promo that you have rocking until the end of the month, it's a no-brainer to hop in on right now just because you're seeing it really well. And this is the niche time of year for you where it is tennis, it's cricket, this big UFC event this weekend. That promo code Lang25, I know you're pretty pumped up about that.
Yeah, it's Gianni did this yesterday. Lang25, it gets you 25% off anything. And really what this is for long term. You can use this all the way to the end of January. But if you know you're going to get it now because we have 5% NFL, 5% UFC that is up. We've got multiple UFC plays. And we also attached a 4% boxing play. Boxing winnings have been good, 8-1 since we started putting those in. Ooh. And it's not just me, Dan. My God, you're a part of the team. You're not just getting my picks. Like, we are seeing it well. Jan has stepped up and did tennis. He's killing it. Boxing, he's crushing. Cricket, he's our cricket department. He's crushing it. Jim makes a killing off of sack props. And he helps out with UFC. Our UFC live show is up, so 25% off. You can get anything you want, 7 days, but really this is for long term. You want to lock everything in. We're already up 50 units this year. We're not going to run this hot all year long, but we did not have a good 2025. We said this is our bounce back year. We've shown it. So it's a big investment. I get it. If you have any questions, this is why we're going live tomorrow before the UFC. If you want to talk a little bit more intimately, that's what these are for. If you have any questions, I'm here. But Lang25 gets you 25% off. It's no brainer. You can start getting plays, get the full analysis. That's over at wt.buzz/AL. Let's see. Somebody asked, my 5%. There's a lot of plays in the 5%. There's like 4 plays, and yes, they are parlays. There's a few parlays in there. So, all right, let's bring on Teddy. Teddy's like, God,
Teddy,
quit happened. Let me come on and talk about
enough with the jibber jabber.
Well, so you talk about putting in bets wrong, and I can't remember the game. It's making me crazy. I'm sitting here trying to remember the game. It's got my first or second year in Vegas. This is still like 99 or 2000 or something. And I spent 3 hours sweating this game. Every play was a sweat down to the wire, cashed at the end, and then looked at my bet and I put it in the other side.
You sweat the entire time.
3 hours I sweated out that game. Got it home, cheering, going nuts. Look at the bet. Oh, well, looks like you bet it in. Looks like you bet it wrong. Should have checked that before you left the counter the first time. So, those are the type of lessons. I don't remember a second instance of that, but I sure remember the first one.
I did it this week I did it this week on a golf play. Bet the wrong guy. And I was like, why? Luckily, I caught it, so I could go bet the other side. But there's a little 2% loss that I'm going to take.
We're all human. Every one of us,
Yeah. Measure twice, cut once. No, we just fire away. Nonstop, baby. Teddy, let's talk a little NBA. You're going to break down Rockets, Pistons, but I do have to ask you, is Giannis part of the Milwaukee Bucks in 2 weeks?
At even money, I don't take the yes. At even money, I don't take the no.
That's a good way to put it.
Yeah. So, but if you're Milwaukee, are you going to get value for them? You're going to go back into rebuilding mode. Because the whole thing is they just spent the money and signed Miles Turner this past offseason and said, all right, we're going to go for the next round. And then if you give up before the All-Star break of the first season, then it's the rebuilding process will take some time. And it's not like the Bucks have had the best management team in place. So, But at the same time, if you can get whatever, these packages come with 3-4 number ones. If you can get that for Giannis right now for a team that's not going anywhere, you got to think about it. But they paid Lillard. They made all these moves to win now, and to shift on that halfway through the season is a little bit problematic. But I can't think of much that Milwaukee's done right over the last 2 years.
Let's talk this Rockets and Pistons game. Two really good teams. Pistons, I think, are overachieving, and you watch them, and holy cow, are they good, man? They'll make any game a rock fight. -3.5, they're the favorite. Over under 216. I think Steven Adams is still out. That's a sneaky miss for the for Houston. They're really good when he's in there. He's one of the best. Yeah, he's going to be out tonight. So how do you break this game down? You like the favorite here or the dog?
Yeah, so looking at my Odds Logic live odds screen right now, I'm seeing Detroit -4, mostly 4. There are a couple of 3.5s out there. I'm seeing 217.5 as the current total. We've seen a little bit of over money for this ball game. I'll put it like this: not my money. NBA winning streaks get attention. NBA losing streaks get attention. A team wins 10 in a row, they'll be the lead story on SportsCenter. You'll see it when you look at the standings page, right? You'll go to anywhere you're looking at the standings page. Oh, look, this team's lost. Losing streak, winning streak. Total streaks don't get any love. And that's why when you see these total streaks, you can ride them and ride them and ride them indefinitely. We do it in baseball, and certainly we look to do it in the NBA. The Pistons are 9-0 to the under in their last 9 ball games. I like quotes from opposing teams. I always look for quotes from opposing teams because you get a sense that it's not this team talking themselves up. It's the other team after the game talking honestly about what just happened. Here's what Jaylen Brown just said about Detroit's defense. Quote, you got to give credit to them. They're extremely physical. You felt it on every possession the whole game. Detroit's playing defense every night. JB Bickerstaff in Cleveland. We think about how the Cavs began to make their rise, because the Cavs began their rise with Bickerstaff as head coach, and then made the move to Atkinson when Bickerstaff didn't win in the playoffs. But it was all about the defensive intensity and the defensive side of the court. So when you talk about Detroit and laying a price with them, the Pistons, their last 14 wins as favorites. And what I'm looking for is wins when they're favored. I'm not looking for when they're underdogs. I'm only as, are they covering spreads as chalk? That's an indicator of value. In the last 14 wins as favorites, they're 7-6-1 against the spread. So from a value standpoint, not so much with Detroit sidewise. But total-wise, sitting, again, with the defense that they're playing. The last 10 games, they're number 1 in defensive efficiency in the NBA, and it's not even close. What about Houston? Well, Houston's coming off a game in which they just allowed 55% shooting in Philadelphia last night. A noticeably poor defensive performance. And we may not see Cade Cunningham in the lineup for Detroit this evening. Cunningham sat out the other night. He's very questionable this evening. I would not be surprised to see him sit. So you put all these factors together. Houston, second of back-to-backs. We expect a slower pace. We expect better defensive intensity from what we saw last night. Detroit quietly cashing all of these under bets. The markets aren't paying attention. In fact, we've seen over money for this ball game. Detroit playing that physical style of defense and making things difficult for opposing teams. Detroit number 1 in defensive efficiency. Put it all together. Yeah, we're going to ride this trend. 9 straight unders for the Pistons. Let's expect 10. Give me Detroit, Houston under the total. And that 216.5. Again, I'm seeing nothing but 217.5s on my Odds Logic live odds screen right now. So you can get a better number than what you're seeing on your screen if you shop around.
Great NBA breakdown there from Teddy Covers. Do you have something for him, Andy?
If Cade Cunningham is out, go play Duncan Robinson over his points props when he's out.
Duncan Robinson is questionable as well.
If
sorry, no, Duncan Robinson is not, but he's probable. Robinson probable, Cunningham questionable. So
yeah, he's making over 4 3-pointers a game these days. He's shooting a ton. So if Cade's out, Duncan Robinson in. Yes, Seth, I will address this with Teddy after this, but Dan, take it away with football.
Yeah, I mean, let's do a little NBA sandwich. We got Sell Me coming up, so we got a little NBA Sell Me edition, and I have a fun one for these guys. But let's talk this NFC Championship game. Teddy, we've talked, I feel like, much more at length, the AFC Championship game, and we'll have Marco's thoughts coming up on that one here. But The tighter line is this Seattle Seahawks. What is it? It's basically settled in all week long at 2.5. We did an opening line report, and you said, I'll be shocked if we see a 3. Maybe we get a 3, and it stayed at 2.5. So Teddy nailed how this line is settled in. We're basically seeing 47s across the board. How are you looking to bet this one, Teddy? And thoughts on the fact that it's been Seattle 2.5 pretty much since the openers?
So again, at 3, you were going to see nothing but Rams money. At 2.5, they're getting 2-way action. Therefore, the 2.5 is likely
if it ain't broke
to stay in place. I mean, and Gianni even said it earlier. He's like, if you see a 3, it's not going to last long. Or it's not likely to last long. You could see some on Sunday. I'm not expecting we will. I see it's more likely to go down to 2 than it is to up to 3. And it could go down even. There's still, when you look at the season-long stats, when you look at the 2 meetings between these 2 teams this year, there's a legitimate case you can make for the LA Rams as being the better of these 2 teams. Seattle, from a strength of schedule standpoint, at the weaker strength of schedule, fairly significantly. And you look at what they've done even in recent weeks, they've beaten up on quote-unquote playoff teams. The last 3 games, they had Carolina and San Fran twice. Carolina played well in their playoff game. They did not play well the week that Seattle beat them. It was a flat spot for them, and they were in that Tampa Bay sandwich. But off Tampa Bay and with Tampa Bay next week. Terrible spot. It's a comparable story with San Francisco. I understand that the 49ers are a playoff team, but the 49ers team that Seattle got to beat, again, they didn't get the good Niners team that went to Philly and played their best game the last 2 months. They got the bad Niners team with no offensive line in week 18 and a super banged up offensive line last week, where that game was over on the opening kickoff. San Fran they fought the good fight. They didn't have it. So from a strength of schedule standpoint, Seattle's been fortuitous. Things have worked out well for them in that regard. But when you talk about season-long stats, is that the key factor here? Because there's a pretty big edge right now for a freshness standpoint in favor of the Seahawks. The Seahawks had a bye week and a blowout win. The Rams had a down-to-the-wire, got a rally from inside 2 minutes on the road in Carolina, and then overtime, oh my God, we just gave up a 4th and 8 conversion for a touchdown, and now we punt in overtime, and as 2 grueling, mentally grueling, physically grueling games. Last week's in the freezing cold, and Seattle was kind of like sitting on the beach. From a freshness standpoint, this week, there's no comparison between these 2 teams. Seattle, fresher, more rested, more ready. Big advantage in that sense. At the same time, all right, Seattle's got the freshness edge. Seattle also lost Zach Charbonnet. Okay, that's an issue. All right, I talked about the strength of schedule. Let's talk about the quarterback and the head coach differential. All right, Sean McVay, proven, we trust him. Matthew Stafford, proven, we trust him. Sam Darnold, 2 games against this Rams defense, he's thrown 6 picks. And Sam Darnold, really good numbers over the first half of the season. Back half of the season, he's like number 27 in QBR since week 11. He has not played well. He's not a candidate. And last week, not tested. This week, likely to be tested. So we saw the Rams win the first meeting. We saw Seattle win the second. The second was as lucky, and I had Seattle in that game, and it was as wrong a side as I'll have in cash all year. They had the 2-point conversions. They had the block punt touchdown. And people are talking about all the yardage that was gained in that game. And this is something that's really worth noting. Thursday night stats, you throw them out. Nobody's ready on Thursday night football. And the second of these 2 games, that wild shootout, was a Thursday night game. Neither team was ready. They're both ready here. If it sounds after all this analysis that I don't have a strong opinion on this game, you're right. I've gone back and forth and back and forth and back and forth. I don't know what I'm doing. I don't feel strong about the side. I don't feel strong about the total. If I can only go with the freshness angle at this stage, I guess. When we think about what the Rams have been through over the last 2 weeks versus what the Seahawks have been through, in my mind, that matters. Sam Darnold to the Super Bowl, I guess I'll call for it. Seahawks as a lean, but it's nothing but a lean. This is not, I haven't taken any money out of my pocket to bet Seattle yet, and I'm not likely to. Certainly not at the current number.
Andy, when you hear a pro like Teddy break down a game that he's all in pretzel and it twisted up about, you know what that screams to me? Props, props, bet props in this game. Make sure you're betting props, not the side and the total in this game. Teddy, great special that we have going on right now where folks can get, they essentially pay for 3 days and they get 7 days of action. It's at anybody's page right now. If they head on over to wt.buzz/TC, what can they take advantage with a great deal like that?
So we got a 4% best bet in the NFL for Sunday on the other game. Not this one. We got a 4% best bet in the NBA tonight as well. And I'm expecting a big weekend in college hoops. Even with, by the way, be aware there's going to be cancellations. There's going to be travel issues in college hoops all over the country. So that will provide opportunities if we're paying attention. So check out my homepage. Again, you talked about that great deal. Again, 7 days for the price of 3. $69. You want a weekend all access? It's $49. Good deals. WT.buzz/TC.
Yeah, hell yeah, man. And yeah, I have a feeling that the game I have set up for you guys here in Pick This NBA Side probably won't be the 5%er that Teddy has rocking tonight. But let's talk about it, gentlemen. Excuse me, 4%er. Yes, Teddy, thank you. Let's talk about it. Pacers and Thunder. Why did I pick this game? Well, Marco likes to say that I'm a sick bastard, and that, of course, is true. But this one for me, guys, is a great example of why the NBA is the NBA. And there aren't many times when you will get a rematch of what the championship game was the year prior and see a team as a 16.5-point favorite. That has been the story for these two clubs this season. And Andy, from the get-go, you said heading into this season, my Pacers are a fade. Well, tonight you're getting, let's call it, 15.5 points, guys, 16.5 points. You're getting plenty of points, Andy. Tell me why the Indiana Pacers are not a fade tonight. And Teddy's going to be breaking down the big favorite in NBA action. Rematch of the championship game, Andy. Why are we taking 15.5, 16.5 point with the Pacers? Sell me on that NBA side.
Why are you taking 15.5 with the Pacers? Because you're sick in the head. No.
Good start. Good start.
Okay, so the Pacers have gotten mollywopped recently. The Oklahoma City Thunder, it looks like they're regaining their form. They won, 7 out of 8 games. But the reason is OKC's starting to run a little thin, and tonight is a great night to rest some guys. Caruso's already out, Hartenstein's out, Mitchell's out, and now they got Wiggins and Williams as questionable. That's not the same Oklahoma City Thunder team that won the championship or started off the season winning a bazillion games. These are the kind of games that the Oklahoma City Thunder have to take a little bit light, and they can just win and get out of town, and they don't need to worry too much about it. The Pacers, they've been slumping, but they've kind of shown that they want to be at least try and be competitive in these games. They lost by 15 to Boston, 9 to Philly. They got killed by Detroit, but they beat New Orleans, a bad team, lost by 14. But this is just such a big number, and the Pacers have only lost by this one time in, almost a month. So the number's a little bit too big. OKC will take the foot off the gas. This is honestly a pretty big letdown spot for OKC. It's technically the team we played in the finals, but not really. It's too many points. The line is actually laughable because they're playing against mostly OKC backup. So it is the Pacers.
Yeah, and this line settled in at 16, basically. So that's what we'll grade it at, guys. 16 is what we're seeing here. 16. And Teddy, I'd like to know why 16 is what you should be laying here with the OKC. I feel like it won't be that hard to convince me. When Andy said you're sick in the head was the line for Andy and
short
on that NBA side. It's short. You tell me on
16. Yeah, I mean, so it's real simple when you talk about OKC. First, let's start with this. Do we worry about injuries for OKC? No, we do not. There's no deeper roster in the NBA. As long as Shea is out there, the Thunder are fine. So, no, Alex Caruso's missing. Alex Caruso's missed. I mean, Hartenstein's hurt. That's not – there's no deeper team in the league. The Thunder can legit go 15 deep every single night, and their 15th guy off the bench plays defense, which is something Indiana doesn't do a whole lot this season. OKC at home this year, 20-2. And let's not forget, all right, yeah, we got NBA Finals revenge for Indiana. But the first game of this season, the shorthanded Pacers gave the Thunder, I remember that. I remember the game. They gave OKC everything they could handle. It took them to overtime in that first meeting on opening night, I believe it was, or soon after. OKC was going to remember that. OKC is going to come to play tonight. And Indiana, when someone comes to play against the Pacers are going to get annihilated, especially someone that plays defense. Is this going to be like the Knicks and Nets the other night, where New York came in focused and they faced a weak offensive team and held them to a franchise low points in the history of the franchise? Probably not. I don't know if Oki's going to win this game by 50, but I think they win it by 17. Give me the Thunder.
Well, guys, it's your chance to comment below and let us know who you agree with. We're grading it at 16. If you think the Pacers getting all those points is the right side, comment Andy with your WagerTalk username. If you think it's short, like Teddy Covers said, lay the 16 there. You can comment Teddy and your WagerTalk username. Whichever side covers, if you pick that side, you're going to be entered in to win a free 3-day flex pass. That's how we play Sell Me here. All you got to do is comment and engage with the show, and you can win free stuff here. It's a great time to do it. Teddy, good luck this weekend. Appreciate you, man. And, we'll be ready for another disgusting Sell Me next week. Bon chance, my friend.
Cheers, guys.
Man, I love it. Look forward to it every week, Teddy.
It's
a fun one.
Dan, whenever I turn on the Pacers, I like, it's like this team was in the NBA Finals, and we have Johnny Furphy passing the ball to Jay Huff. Like that's an actual thing that's happening on the gross. Pacers, but they're doing the right thing. Lose. Draft your stud and build up. So
just lose by less than 16 points tonight. That's all they got to
do. Let's bring on Marco and just get some breakdowns and over all around the world. What's up, Marco?
Hey guys, Andy, you can't complain about the Pacers, all right? You just got the Hoosiers win a national championship, and it's only a few months. WNBA, you'll be able to get the Indiana fever and ride them in the WNBA. They had a great year last year, so everything's okay on the Indiana sports front, all right?
Verbatim, I said that on the show yesterday, Marco. It was like Andy was talking about the Pacers and how they suck, and I was like, nobody, you just won the national championship and had an undefeated season with a historical basketball school. I don't want to hear anything about the Pacers, Andy.
Listen, like I said, they're doing it the right way. I would much rather them be this bad rather than winning games that they have no business winning and end up with the 6th pick as opposed to like the 1st, 2nd, or 3rd. So, but yeah, no, listen, there's no complaining here on my end. I'm sorry if it came across that way. I on cloud 9, baby.
No, we just got to give you shit. You know that, Andy. Come on.
I know, and I love you guys. Marco, let's go to college basketball first. We got, not quite the rival in basketball that it is in football, but and the 15.5-point spread tells you that. Over under 165.5. Question is Michigan 16 points better than Ohio State?
Well, I actually think they are for a couple reasons, and we're going to start with Ohio State. Look at the schedule that Ohio State has played so far in the month of January. You started out in, again, the Big Ten is one of those conferences that expanded, and we've got, teams not only going to the West Coast, but you got to go to the East Coast as well. And they went to New Jersey and played Rutgers to open up the month of January. They followed that up, come home and play a tough home game against Nebraska. Now, Nebraska, one of the few remaining undefeated teams in the country, they took them to the limit, ended up losing by 3. Then they had to go to the West Coast and play Oregon and Washington, return home from that to play UCLA. Now, granted, UCLA's, down a little bit this year, but still for members of the Big Ten facing UCLA with all that basketball tradition, it's a big game. Only then after that, they played an overtime game against Minnesota. So this team's had a lot of big games. Now they got to play number 3 Michigan. Michigan was undefeated until 4 games back when they suffered their first loss. And then they had to play Washington and Oregon, that tough battle there. They failed to cover the spread in both because, generally when you start the season out undefeated and you're winning and covering, the books are going to catch up to you, and the lines kept getting inflated on Michigan to the point where they were winning and not covering, and I think they've lost like 5 in a row to the spread. But if you look at their last 3 games that they played, those 2 games, Washington and Oregon, then return home from that, play in Indiana, that was 3 tough games in 7 days travel-wise. They're going to be at home for the second time in a row. And I like that they won and didn't cover the last one. I think you're getting a little bit of value in this one. I know it doesn't sound like it when you're laying 15.5 points and you're using a name like Ohio State, but Ohio State in basketball was not the same as Ohio State in football. I'm going to go ahead and lay it. And Michigan can play some tenacious defense. And if you remember when we said it last week on the show when we previewed that Kansas-Baylor game, this is a game that's not shoved into 100 games on Saturday. It's a Friday night. It's going to be one of the spotlight games with TV, even though it's a big spread. I think Michigan comes to play. I think they flex their muscles. I got them winning by 18 or more. So for me, I'm going to go ahead and lay the points. I'll lay the 15.5 with Michigan.
Laying the points there, says Marco D'Angelo. We got this AFC Championship game coming up here. We're going to get Marco's thoughts in that in just a second. But as I mentioned with Teddy, Marco, this is a great time to buy because you're transitioning into this time of year where it's a little bit softer and you still have NFL action here to keep on riding. What are folks going to find over at your page, Marco, and let them know about some of these great deals we got rocking?
Well, the deal, the 7 days for the price of 3 is an absolute no-brainer. One, because everybody loves that weekend warrior that's $49. Okay, $20 more, you're picking up 5 more days. $69, you're getting 7. That's what we normally charge for a 3-day package. You'll get every sport. Pick your favorite capper, jump on board. You never miss a play. Why I love to push people to the all access. And I'll be honest, okay, it makes more money for me if you buy me daily, okay? So the reason I want to push you to the all access is because you get every single play in every sport. And I do things a little different at WagerTalk, okay? I don't have an NBA play every day. I don't have the mentality that I have to have an NBA play every day. I don't have to have an NHL play every day or a college basketball play. But I pick and choose. When I look at all the cards every day, I pick the 2, 3, 4 best plays that I can find on the card. Doesn't matter what sport it is. And doing that for me, the last 2 years has us number 2 college and pro football combined money 1 leader. Number 2. NBA since 2020, we're number 1 in the NBA in money 1. In the NHL, number 1 in money 1 since 2021. Now, if you go and look at the season totals, I'm going to be one of the lower volume guys every year in the sports, in the NBA, in the NHL. But I picked my spots. Last night we went 2-1, 0-1 in college basketball. Unfortunately, was my 4% play, but we go 2-0 in hockey last night. Had a couple small underdogs. A break-even night, going 2-1. They were both 2% plays. That's the way to attack it. It's not, you hear the phrase, it's not a sprint, it's a marathon. That's the way I do it. That's the way I grind it out. That's why I've been doing this for 46 years. Grab a 7-day all access, guys. And yeah, you'll get those big plays, the 5% plays that sell for $35. And those are 41 and 19 over the last 2 years. There's my sales pitch, guys.
Hey, I love it. And also, folks, don't worry. You love the free stuff, too. Marco's Deli is still rocking right along here on the WagerTalk YouTube channel, and you can find it. And Marco hops in there in the comments and then confirms with these college basketball games. You heard the great breakdown that he gave there. These lines are so volatile that the day of the games, he'll hop in there. He'll let you know the current lines. He'll let you know if they're plays or not. So it's a fun new way to do the Deli. He started off great. I believe 4-2 to kick that off, Marco. So
yep, we'll have the Deli out later today. Usually it gets posted about 5 p.m. Eastern time. So I'll be working on the Deli. I'll be making sandwiches as soon as I get done with you guys here. We'll be lining it up.
Well, you're not done yet because I want to hear your thoughts on this New England Patriots and Denver Broncos game. You're going to get the final word on probably what was the most discussed game and not disgusting game as this one. I find an intriguing handicap, Marco, and it's basically settled in at 4.5. It was the 5.5. It was bouncing around the number, and we're essentially seeing that settled in. You heard Ace earlier. He was talking about how it's really over in this game. How are you looking to bet this game, Marco? Because for the first time in the playoffs, it looks like weather will not be a factor for a New England Patriots game, which has not been the standard that they've been pushing towards.
No, absolutely not. The first question, and again, you have to start with the obvious in that, what's the true value of Bo Nix? Okay, Vegas is telling us one thing. Now, I've talked to a lot of different people, and we've had different opinions of what this line would have been had Bo Nix played. And the reason people say, well, why do you even care about that? Because he's not playing. Well, because that tells me what they're valuing Bo Nix at. The general consensus, a lot of people thought the line would have been Denver -1.5. I'm on the other camp. I thought it would have been a little bit higher. I thought it would have been 2 or 2.5. And my reasoning for that is the market closed in the Denver-Buffalo game is Denver a 1.5 point favorite over Buffalo. And they beat Buffalo. All right. Granted, and I had it, and I'll be the first to tell you, I had a ticket on Denver, and it was a lucky win for me. Okay. Denver did not deserve to beat Buffalo, but they did. But I'll point out too, the week before that, I had Green Bay against Chicago, and I didn't deserve to lose that one, and I did. So the gambling gods have a way of working things out. But if the market said Denver was going to be 1.5, closed at 1.5 over Buffalo, to me, they would have been 2.5 over New England. So that's telling me if they were 2.5 and now New England's 4.5, they're trying to sell me that Bo Nix is worth 7 points. I'm sorry, Bo Nix is not worth 7 points. Okay. He's a second-year quarterback that for most of the games was a game manager, okay? There's not a lot of times where he put the team on his back and he was going to take them down the field. I think that's too much of an adjustment. And then, I always throw in the injured player theory, okay? And that is real. And why it's real is for several reasons. One, the rest of the team is going to play at a different level, a different intensity. And I always say at 110%. And people say, well, mathematically, you can only give 100%. You can't give more. Well, I get that, but they're going to be focused. You're not going to have those mental lapses because they know they got to compensate for the loss of a key player. And then on the flip side, where it comes in, if you're New England, how do you not mentally think you just caught a major break? Okay. They just lost their starting quarterback, and they got to go to a guy that's not a proven backup. This is a guy that hasn't played in 3 years. All right. So mentally, New England has a little bit of a letdown. Now, from the X's and O's of it, here's where I think the big advantage is, and why I'm going to give you the play I'm going to give you. New England has no idea of what the game plan is going to be. Okay. When you're breaking down film and coming up with a game plan, you're looking at what teams have done in the past and what the tendencies are, what their strengths are, what their weaknesses are, and you devise a game plan to stop that. What's the game plan for Denver? They don't have any game film on Stidham, okay? He hasn't gotten into a meaningful game in Denver, okay? If you want to go back to the last time he actually played, you got to look at it when he was at the Raiders for a little bit. Not much to go on. That's a huge advantage for Denver in preparation. And you can be sure Sean Payton is going to develop something that's going to play to his strengths and weaknesses. And we know that Sean Payton likes to put in a few, wrinkles or trick plays in there. This is going to catch New England off guard. And with that said, being a home crowd, being the unknown factor, and the team's going to be pumped up, I'm going to go Denver first half wager. I'm going to take them plus the 3 points for the first half. I think they get the job done. And another reason why I want Denver in the first half, they're playing at home. Let's not forget, I said that Bo Nix is not worth 7 points. Drake May's had an MVP season. Okay. And when the regular season ended, if I was casting a vote for the MVP, I would have given it to Drake May over Stafford. Now, the 2 games in the playoffs, I would have changed my vote if we took it the whole way, because I think Stafford has played better. But this is still a quarterback that's the second year. This is his first playoff game on the road. And Denver's not an easy place to play. I'm going to go ahead and take Denver +3 first half.
Honestly, Marco, we're all on the same page. We agree with everything that you just said. So yeah. I love the injured player. And yes, Rex in the chat brings up that Stidham, Ben and Peyton system. They signed him to a decent deal. Like they're paying him. So Peyton likes him a lot. So do you have a wing sauce for us this week?
We're going to go. I'm actually going to give you a repeat one that we did before, and he deserves it. He absolutely deserves it. If you remember on the November 14th show, I had the wing sauce, and we called it sweet chili because the man was absolutely chill. It was sweet to watch when he drove the team down the field in that Penn State game. Took him, I believe it was like 80 yards with 151 left on the clock and no timeouts to preserve that undefeated season. And in that one, I coined him Fernando Heis Mendoza. Well, what he did in the national championship game, we just have to come back and give it to him. That 4th and 5 play, that was the deciding factor in that game. And as much as the hits that he took, and by the way, there should have been 2 roughing the quarterback calls that weren't. I don't know how they didn't get called in that one. And he took those hits and got back up and continued to play that game and then extend himself out, give up his body for the touchdown was amazing. I will give also honorable mention to Kurt Signetti too, because he had a big set of kachongas to change his mind and send the offense out there for that, because he was thinking field goal and he changed his mind, and that was the difference in the game. So hats off. They deserve one more round of applause and give who's going to be the quarterback here in Las Vegas. He is the number 1 pick. Mark it down. There's no way they can take anybody else but him.
Take good care of him, Marco. Our baby's moving on.
He's a proud father. Yeah.
But seriously, I know the Raiders, the organization has been crap, but think about this. He's going to be mentored by Tom Brady. Okay. Tom Brady's involved with the Raiders. All right.
That's fair.
And there are a few similarities. Remember, Tom Brady didn't come out of college with, all the accolades. No, Mendoza is, but he didn't get that until he earned it. This is a quarterback that got passed over. I mean, everybody knows the story. How many schools said no on him? I think this is going to be Tom Brady's personal project, and that excites me for the Raiders. I'll still be a Steeler fan, don't get me wrong, but at least I got something exciting to watch with the Raiders, which we haven't had in several, since they've come here. Let's be honest.
You'll love him, Marco. Thank you very much for joining us. Great breakdowns. Marco D'Angelo, 7 days for the price of 3. Dan, let's do all around the world and get out of here. I know you're running a little bit late. Let's give out some free plays. Having the week we are in tennis, especially doubles, Dan, it's pretty much a law that I have to give out a free play here. So Jessica Pegula -1.5 sets. She's steamrolled the first 2 matches, and I expect her to do the same here. And then go to women's doubles. Sinikova and Townsend -1.5. They've steamrolled, and this team they're playing is not very good. So just parlay those together, you get -122. Hey, listen, we've been talking props. We already had this one fired up. Tyler Higbee over 15.5 receiving, over in 5 games, had 23 against Seattle, and Seattle's sneaky bad. I've been talking about Tyler Higbee all week. It's worth it. It's worth talking about it again because Seattle gives up over 60 yards receiving to quarterbacks. And Kings and the Cavs, this is a client play. Russell Westbrook over 15.5 points. It's the usage. He's getting 20 points, not 15.5 points, and the books just keep putting it there. And these are the kind of streaks that make you a winning bettor. When you discover that Russell Westbrook is taking 15 shots per game and he's making 8 of them, he's making a couple threes, he's adding 3 free throws. He plays Cleveland. They are not very good defensively on the perimeter, and this Kings team just does not have a lot of dynamic scores at this point. So Russell Westbrook, as long as they keep hanging 15.5, we'll keep taking it. So, all right. That's going to do it for us. Dan, great week of shows. We have a huge Saturday. We will be live on the WagerTalk YouTube channel, and then we'll jump over to the Winning in the Shadows YouTube channel, where Jim and I will watch all the fights live for live bets. 5% UFC, 5% NFL. It's just a massive weekend, and you can use the promo code Lang at 25. I see you all in the chat. There's too many of you to thank, so just collectively thank you, and welcome to the team, those of you that cashed in on all those plays this week. Lang 25. Dan, let's get it. Let's have a big weekend. We'll do it again Monday. Thanks for watching, everybody. Good luck on your bets, and be safe out there with this weather. Be very, very safe.